All right, Shalom. I want to start off this video by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, Bahashim Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to my apostles, the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and grace and peace to you elect around the four winds, believing and pushing this truth in all sincerity. May the blessing of election be upon your houses. This is your fellow servant, Rakayu from the GMS Orlando camp. And as you can see from the title of tonight's lesson, all right, emotions and this truth don't mix. All right, emotions and the truth do not mix. And there comes a point in this ministry where we as men must grow up. It's like the beloved elder Ariala says all the time. You know, it comes a point in this ministry where we as men of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai must grow up. And that means putting off emotions, putting off feelings, and dealing with the logic that the scriptures provide. All right, because when you deal with emotions, emotions are deeply rooted in the flesh. All right, feelings are deeply rooted in the flesh, in which we know we can't trust. But the scriptures provide a logic that we as men need here in these latter days to overcome and endure. All right, when you deal with emotions, you deal with a lack of understanding. When you deal with feelings, you deal with a lack of understanding. But when you deal with the totality of the scriptures, you deal with a complete understanding. The understanding of the Heavenly Father's will, the understanding of order, the understanding of your purpose, the understanding of judgment. All right, when you deal with the totality of the scriptures, you deal with a complete understanding, which is needful here in these latter days, especially for us men of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right, it's high time to put off the childish mentality. All right, thinking that every Israelite is going to get along, thinking that every Israelite group is going to get along, or thinking that every Israelite is a prophet, or that every Israelite means you well, or your lack of understanding of judgment or why things happening. It's high time to put off the childish mentality because we're entering into some very serious times. Some very serious times are ahead of us. And if you're still in a childish mentality, you're going to get swept up. We got to grow up. It's essential. The Lord gave us this truth to grow, not to stay stagnant. This truth is likened unto a river of living water, constantly flowing. All right, constantly flowing, constantly moving, constantly changing. All right, and as this word continues to flow, all right, as it continues to be pushed through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, we should be continuing to grow in knowledge and understanding, in composure, in faith, in wisdom, in knowledge and understanding. We should not be stagnant, and we should not still be equipped with a childish mentality. All right, the scriptures tell us to do this, right? The Lord told us to do this in the book of Job, the 40th chapter. It's also in the 38th chapter. This is Job 40 and verse 7. It reads, "Gird up thy loins now like a man. I will demand of thee, and declare thou unto me." All right, the Lord demanded us to gird up our loins like men. All right, that means putting off emotions. That means putting off our feelings and dealing with the entirety of the scriptures. That means the Deuteronomy 22. All right, that means the grape doctrine. That means Jacob's trouble. That means what the MOTB really is. That means warning our people of the impending dangers and putting them in a mindset of preparedness. All right, putting them in a mindset of preparing for the battle instead of putting them in a mindset of preparing to party. That means confirming the souls of the disciples. That means making your body a living sacrifice. That means doing the work of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That means doing your due diligence to make your calling and election sure. Going out on the highways and byways. That's what that entails. Girding up thy loins like men. Not sitting back cheerleading. Sitting back doubting. Watching umpteen videos and still coming unto no understanding. That's not what that means, man. Sitting back and still wondering why people are getting put to death. Sitting back and wondering why people can't get along. That's not what girding up your loins like men is. Girding up your loins like men means coming to an understanding. Understanding what you're a part of, understanding what the Lord requires of you, of us. Putting off childish things, putting off childish ways. All right, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 11. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. All right, and upon this truth being revealed unto us, that's when we really began to become men, true men. All right, hold on real quick. Excuse me. I'm in transit at the moment. All right, but upon this truth being revealed unto us is when we began to become men. All right, we killed off that old man, that nigga. All right, and we were reborn through the Spirit. And as we were reborn, we were weaned through the milk of the Scriptures until we were able to eat meat. All right, we came up under the basics. All right, we were retaught. All right, on the fundamentals of life, on the fundamentals of our Heavenly Father. All right, and as we were retaught, we grew. All right, and as we grew, we came to an age of spiritual adulthood. All right, and as we reached that period of spiritual adulthood, all right, we put off childish things. We put off the childish way of thought. We put off the childish way, the childish mannerisms. You know, we put off childish speech patterns. All right, we put that on, therefore, as a man. All right. And a childish thought process, all right, is thinking that every Israelite group is going to get along. All right, thinking that every Israelite is a teacher sent by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Thinking that we can build better here in America, Babylon the Great. Or thinking that you can't, it doesn't matter whether or not you who you listen to. Thinking that we don't have the 100% doctrine. Thinking that the name of the Lord doesn't exist and the Lord didn't do any miracles. That's a childish ideology. Sitting back watching from the keyboard. That's a childish mannerism. Not putting in the work yourself. That's childish mannerisms. When you look at the former age, when you inquire of our forefathers, all right, you see that we come from a group, we descend from a group of valiant men, men of courage, men of extreme faith. All right. Men who put their foe on as the elect, men who fought and strove for Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Let's get this in Isaiah 46 in verse 8. This is Isaiah chapter 46. In verse 8, it reads, remember this and shew yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O ye transgressors. Remember the former things of old, for I am the Heavenly Father, and there is none else. I am power, and there is none like me. All right, but the point being in verse 8, remember this and shew yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O ye transgressors. All right, bring it again to mind what our calling is. Bring it again to mind what the happenings of aforetime. Our people never were on one accord. You always had those who fought for Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and those who didn't. You always had sheep and you had wolves. You had deceivers and you had those who were true. You always had this schism between our nation. And it's going to be like that until Yahushua returns. You always had those who fought for Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and those who sat on the porch. Those who talked a big game and those who actually went out and did. Those who held the resemblance of men and those who were true men. You always had this. And now's the time to show ourselves men before the face of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And how do we do that? By making our bodies a living sacrifice. By doing this work. By growing up, by putting off emotions and feelings and dealing with the logic that the scriptures provide. In its totality, in its totalness, in its fullness. That means coming to an understanding of what the will of the Heavenly Father is for the earth. The Lord does not intend to preserve America, Babylon the Great. Neither does he intend to preserve 2/3 of our people. And it just is what it is at this point. It is what it is. It's been written like this. The Lord does not intend for every Israelite group to get along. He does not intend for our position here in America to get any better. But he does intend for his men to follow his word. He does intend for the elect to get the victory. He does intend for his men to do his work. This is Isaiah 46:80. Remember this and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O ye transgressors. All right, I have one more and I'll close it out. This is First Maccabees chapter 1. Slakia. First Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 64. It reads as such. Wherefore ye, my sons, be valiant, and shew yourselves men in the behalf of the law, for by it shall ye obtain glory. All right, and right now is the time to shew yourselves men. All right, shew yourselves men. Grow up. All right, grow up. There's no reason. There's no reason why you should be watching umpteen videos a day and still be asking questions on what the MOTB is. There's no reason why you should be seeing these back and forths going on between the Great Millstone and these other camps regarding doctrine and still be doubtful on what the truth is. There's no reason why you should still be thinking that everyone is going to get along, that all of our people should get along. Grow up. Stop dealing with emotions. The scriptures provide a very Eastern mindset, an Eastern mindset. The Western mindset does not line up with the Bible. And the Western mindset, when I say that, is very emotional, effeminate. All right, here in the West, men are emotional, they're effeminate, all right, and they're clueless. They're cowards. But the scriptures describe and provide a very manly way of thinking. And in order to resonate, in order to understand it, you have to put off emotion. You got to grow up. Certain things happen in the scriptures that aren't comely. They aren't comely. There are certain things that are getting ready to happen that aren't, you can't sugarcoat it. There's just no way else to sugarcoat it. A lot of people are getting ready to die. But the quicker you come to terms with that, the better off you'll be. The more understanding you'll gain, the more faith you'll gain, the more wisdom you'll gain. But we gotta grow up. Emotions and this truth do not mix. We have to deal with the entirety of the scriptures. That's why it says in Ezekiel, we got to eat the whole roll. The good, the bad, the ugly, the sweet, everything has to be digested. And in doing so, we come to a complete understanding. Hey, with that being said, shalom, stay up.